You wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning, eyes open, mind alert. The room is still. You shift your pillow, roll to the other side, maybe even try counting sheep. But sleep, nowhere to be found. Sound familiar? You're not alone. Millions of people over 60 face this same kind of night, again and again. But here's the part most folks don't tell you. It doesn't have to stay that way. Growing older may change your sleep, but it doesn't mean good sleep is gone for good. Not even close. Instead of dreading those early wake-ups, what if you could reset your body to sleep deeper, stay asleep longer, and actually wake up feeling refreshed? Today I'm going to show you how. A few weeks ago, I released a video explaining why sleep gets harder as we age. And wow, the response was overwhelming. So many of you asked the same question. Okay, I get it. Sleep changes with age. But what can I actually do about it? That's exactly what we're diving into today. Because here's the truth. There are real reasons your sleep starts to shift after 55. Your biology changes. Your habits may no longer serve you. And sometimes medical issues creep in and mess with the rest your body truly needs. But that doesn't mean you're stuck with bad nights and tired days. In fact, you can take back control starting tonight. This video is your guide. We'll break down why sleep gets fragmented, why your bedtime might be creeping earlier, why naps don't always help, and most importantly, what you can do to fix it. Simple changes, real strategies, better sleep. Let's get started. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you really looked at your bedtime routine? I'm not talking about brushing your teeth or turning off the lights. I mean the tiny choices, like that afternoon coffee, the nap that ran too long, or the old mattress you've been meaning to replace for years. You see, the biggest disruptors of sleep after 60 aren't always big medical conditions. Often they're small habits that slowly build up and chip away at your rest. But the good news? They're fixable. And once you know what to look for, you can make changes that truly make a difference. Coming up, we'll walk through each one and how to reclaim the deep, steady sleep you deserve. Let's start with something no one warns you about. Sleep changes, even when everything else stays the same. As we get older, the architecture of our sleep shifts. You may fall asleep just fine, but wake up multiple times a night. Or you might notice that your deep, refreshing sleep just doesn't feel as deep anymore. And there's a reason for that. Science shows that starting around age 55, our bodies naturally produce less slow-wave sleep. That's the deep, restorative kind. At the same time, we spend more time in light sleep, and we're more likely to wake up from small noises, temperature changes, or even thoughts drifting through the mind. In fact, researchers at Harvard and the University of Pittsburgh have found that older adults experience more micro-awakenings throughout the night. Even if you don't remember them, they fragment your rest. But here's what most people miss. This isn't failure. This isn't broken. It's just different. And once you understand what's changing, you can stop fighting it and start adapting. For example, maybe you've been trying to get 8 hours of sleep every night, just like you did at 40. But now you wake up after 6 and can't fall back asleep. So you lie there, frustrated, anxious, wide awake. Instead of chasing old patterns, what if you gave your body what it's asking for? 6 hours of quality sleep can be more powerful than 8 hours of tossing and turning. So if you're waking up earlier but feeling okay, that's not failure. That's your new rhythm. Of course, if you're still feeling groggy, unfocused, or exhausted during the day, something's off. And that's what we're here to fix. But if you're sleeping shorter and still functioning well, your body might just be telling you, this is what works for me now. The key is learning to listen and adjust instead of pushing against the change. Because when you stop resisting your biology, sleep often gets better all by itself. Now let's talk about your body's natural sleep clock. And what happens when it shifts earlier as you age? Ever find yourself getting sleepy around 7:30 or 8 p.m., even though you used to stay up until 11? Or waking up at 4:30 in the morning, wondering why your eyes are wide open? That's something called phase advance, and it happens to nearly everyone after 60. Here's the science. As we age, the brain's production of melatonin, that natural sleep hormone, starts earlier in the day. Your internal clock begins to think it's later than it actually is. That's why dinner at 4 p.m. suddenly sounds reasonable. Your body believes it's closer to bedtime. Now, this shift isn't bad, but it can be inconvenient, especially when you find yourself falling asleep too early, waking too early, or wide awake in the dark while the rest of the world sleeps on. So what can you do? One of the most powerful and overlooked fixes is light, specifically getting bright natural light early in the morning. Studies in 2024 and 2025 show that even just 30, 60 minutes of outdoor light or sitting by a window with sunlight can help push your melatonin production later into the evening. It tells your brain, hey, it's still daytime. That means you'll feel more alert in the afternoon and sleepy closer to a regular bedtime. You can also try using a bright light box in the morning, something designed for seasonal depression but effective for sleep phase shifting too. Now, what about melatonin supplements? If you're considering them, remember, less is more. Most people overdo it. Instead of 3 or 5 milligrams, start with just zero point 0.3 to zero point 0.5 milligrams and take it 90 minutes before your intended bedtime, not right before you crawl into bed. And don't forget, talk to your doctor before adding any supplement, especially if you take other medications. Melatonin can interact with blood pressure meds, antidepressants, and more. So the best first step, get outside in the morning. Let nature reset your clock before you reach for a bottle, because your body still wants to sleep. You just need to teach it when. Let's shift gears and talk about habits, because sometimes it's not biology or disease getting in the way of your sleep. It's routine. And the truth is, many of us carry old habits into older age without realizing they no longer serve us. Let's start with caffeine. You might say, coffee doesn't affect me. I can drink it after dinner and still fall asleep. But here's what the science says. As we age, our ability to metabolize caffeine slows down by as much as 33%. So even if you don't feel the jolt, caffeine is still active in your system long after your last sip, especially if that sip happened at 4 p.m. with dinner. What's the fix? There's a technique called caffeine fading. Here's how it works. If you normally have 3 cups a day, you replace your last cup with half calf for a week, then full decaf the next week. Then you slowly move that last cup earlier and earlier. This way, you keep your coffee ritual, the warmth, the taste, without the sleep interference. Now let's talk about naps. Look, I love a good nap, but unscheduled mid-afternoon naps can backfire. Between 1 and 3 p.m., our body temperature naturally dips, and that triggers a wave of sleepiness. But if you're sitting still on the couch watching TV, that wave can knock you right into a 2-hour nap. And here's the problem. That nap messes with your sleep drive, the internal pressure that builds up to help you fall asleep at night. It's like letting the air out of a balloon too early. So what do? If you're truly tired, limit your nap to 20 minutes. Set a timer and take it no later than 2 p.m. Even better, get outside in the sunlight, take a short walk, or just move your body a little when that sleepy wave hits. Physical activity signals your brain that it's not bedtime yet. Now let's talk about your sleep environment. When was the last time you changed your mattress? If it's been more than 6 to 8 years, and especially if you're waking up sore or stiff, it might be time. As we get older, we need more pressure relief, more cushion, and solid edge support. You want a mattress that works with your changing body, not against it. And don't forget the little things. Warm socks, a heavier blanket if you tend to wake up cold, or a ceiling fan and cotton sheets if overheating keeps you up. None of these changes require a prescription. They just require paying attention and giving your body what it needs now, not what worked 10 years ago. Because small habits, when repeated daily, shape the way you sleep and how you feel every single day. Now, what if you've already cut the caffeine, fixed your bedtime, replaced your mattress, and sleep is still light and broken? That's when we turn to your brain. Because as we age, it's not just our habits that change, it's our actual brain activity during sleep. Studies show that older adults experience a sharp drop in slow wave activity. That's the deep restorative sleep where the brain clears waste, repairs the body, and builds memory. At the same time, we get more frequent awakenings, sometimes so short we don't even remember them, but enough to disrupt the flow of rest. So what can we do? You might think, well, I can't change how my brain works, but actually you can, in small but meaningful ways. Let me introduce you to a strategy called time in bed restriction. Sounds counterintuitive, but stick with me. A recent study showed that older adults who limited their time in bed to about 75% of their actual sleep time, say 6 hours instead of 8, saw an increase in deep sleep. Why? Because staying in bed too long when you're not asleep weakens your brain's association between bed and sleep. So if you're lying in bed awake for hours hoping sleep will return, this method might help you reset that connection. Now here's another promising tool: light therapy. Bright blue enriched light in the morning, either from sunlight or a special lamp, can shift your circadian rhythm and improve your nighttime sleep. It's especially helpful if you've been falling asleep too early or waking too soon. A 2025 study found that older adults exposed to this kind of light for just 60 minutes each morning had better sleep at night, with longer duration and fewer interruptions. And if you're open to a little tech, there's even sound-based brain stimulation. It works like this. While you sleep, gentle sounds, timed with your brain's natural rhythms, are played through a headband or speaker. They don't wake you, but they do enhance the brain's slow wave activity. In trials, older adults using this method for just a few nights slept more deeply and showed improved memory the next day. Now, these aren't magic pills. They take consistency, but they're powerful reminders that your brain can be trained at any age. So whether it's restricting time in bed, embracing light in the morning, or using sound at night, the key is this: even when biology slows down, behavior can catch up. And that means better sleep isn't out of reach. It's just waiting for you to try something new. Sometimes the problem isn't your habits, it's your body. If you're doing everything right, no caffeine, solid routine, good environment, and still waking up multiple times a night, it's time to look at medical causes. Let's start with the most common one: nocturia, or nighttime urination. Many older adults find themselves waking up 2, 3, even 4 times a night to use the bathroom. And while some of this is natural with age, it can seriously disrupt your sleep. If this sounds familiar, try reducing liquids in the evening, especially after 6 p.m. Cut back on tea, soup, and juicy fruits before bed. And talk to your doctor. Frequent nighttime urination could be a sign of an underlying issue, like an overactive bladder or prostate condition. Now let's talk about restless leg syndrome, or RLS. This one's sneaky. You lie down and suddenly your legs feel jittery, like something's crawling inside. The urge to move is overwhelming, and moving brings relief until it comes back again. This condition affects millions, especially older adults. It can be caused by low iron, low magnesium, or certain medications. If this happens to you, ask your doctor about checking your iron and B vitamin levels. Also consider whether any medications you take might be triggering it, including antihistamines or antidepressants. Now, what about sleep apnea? Many people think, I don't snore, so I must be fine. But that's not always true. Apnea can show up as sudden awakenings, gasping for air, or simply feeling exhausted after a full night in bed. If you've tried everything and still wake up tired, it's worth getting tested. Even with a simple home sleep study, treatment might be as easy as using a mouth guard or adjusting your sleeping position. Finally, be mindful of your medications. Some drugs, including beta blockers, steroids, and antidepressants, can interfere with your sleep rhythm. Never stop a medication on your own, but do talk with your doctor. Sometimes simply moving a pill from night to morning can make a huge difference. The bottom line? Your body might be asking for help in quiet, subtle ways. So listen closely and don't be afraid to ask questions, because when you address the real root, the rest takes care of itself. So here's the truth. Better sleep after 60 isn't just possible. It's within reach. You don't need to rely on pills. You don't have to accept waking up exhausted. And you're not too old to reset your body's rhythm. You just need the right tools and the willingness to try. Start small. Shift your light exposure. Cut that afternoon coffee. Set a nap timer. Ask your doctor the right questions. And most importantly, pay attention to what your body's telling you now, not what used to work 20 years ago. Because when you listen, adjust, and give your brain and body what they truly need, something incredible happens. You sleep better, you wake up sharper, and you feel more like you. If this video helped you, there's one more you don't want to miss, where I walk through the best evening routines to prepare your body for deep, lasting rest. Click right here to keep learning, keep experimenting, and keep moving toward the kind of sleep that lets you live your fullest days. Thanks for watching, and here's to a better night ahead.